January 29th, 1945, 2:47 p.m. Holtzheim, Belgium. First Sergeant Leonard Funk walks around the corner of a farmhouse and stops dead. 90 German soldiers are staring at him. Half of them are holding weapons. The other half are picking up rifles from a pile on the ground. 4 American GIs kneel in the snow with their hands behind their heads. These Germans were prisoners 20 minutes ago, 80 of them, captured by Funk's company during the assault on this village, guarded by 4 men, all that could be spared. Now they're free, armed, and organizing to attack Company C from the rear. A German officer steps forward, shoves an MP-40 submachine gun into Funk's stomach, screams something in German. Funk doesn't speak German. The officer screams again, louder, face turning red. Funk looks at the 90 Germans, looks at his 4 disarmed soldiers, looks at the MP-40 pressed against his gut, and starts laughing. The German officer's face twists with confusion, then rage. He screams louder. Funk laughs harder. What happens next takes less than 60 seconds. 21 Germans will die. The rest will throw down their weapons and surrender. And Leonard Funk will earn the Medal of Honor for one of the most insane acts of combat in World War II, all because he couldn't stop laughing. Leonard Funk was born in Pennsylvania, a steel town kid, 5'5", 140 pounds. He joined the Army in 1941, volunteered for the Paratroopers. By D-Day, he was a squad leader in the 508th Parachute Infantry Regiment, the 82nd Airborne Division. June 6, 1944, Normandy. Funk jumped at 400 feet, too low. German anti-aircraft fire everywhere. He landed 40 miles from his drop zone. Ankle badly sprained, alone in enemy territory. For 10 days, he led a group of lost paratroopers through German-held France, 18 men from different units, all looking for leadership. Funk gave it to them. He served as lead scout despite his injured ankle, putting himself in the most dangerous position to protect his men. They linked up with Allied forces on June 17th. Every single man survived, not one casualty. The Silver Star. September 17th, 1944. Holland. Operation Market Garden, the largest airborne assault in history. 35,000 paratroopers dropping into the Netherlands to capture bridges across the Rhine. After landing, Funk noticed something that wasn't part of the plan. 3 German 20mm flak guns were firing at incoming Allied gliders. The gliders carried reinforcements, supplies, wounded men. The gun position was dug in. 20 German soldiers, sandbags, interlocking fields of fire. Funk had 3 men. He attacked anyway. Leading from the front, Funk and his patrol stormed the position. They killed the security detachment, neutralized all 3 weapons. 20 Germans, 3 Americans. The guns went silent. The gliders landed safely. The Distinguished Service Cross, second highest decoration for valor. December 1944. The Battle of the Bulge. The Germans launched their last desperate offensive. 400,000 men, 1,400 tanks. They crashed through American lines in the Ardennes forest, created a bulge 50 miles deep. Then came Malmédy, December 17th, 1944. One day into the offensive, 113 Americans from the 285th Field Artillery Battalion surrendered to an SS armored unit. They were herded into a field, hands up, disarmed, prisoners of war. Then the SS opened fire, machine guns, pistols, rifles, They shot them down like cattle. Men who tried to run were cut down. Men who fell wounded were finished off with shots to the head. 84 Americans died in that field. The news spread through the American army within hours. The Germans are executing prisoners. Malmédy changed everything. American soldiers swore they'd never surrender to the SS. Some units passed down orders. No SS prisoners. When Leonard Funk heard about the massacre, something hardened inside him. He decided he would never surrender to the Germans, no matter what. That decision would matter very soon. January 29th, 1945. The Ardennes. Company C gets orders to capture the Belgian village of Holtzheim. There's a problem. Company C is under strength. They don't have enough men for the assault. Funk is now acting executive officer. He looks at his depleted roster and makes a decision. He walks to the company headquarters tent. Inside are clerks, supply personnel, cooks, men who normally never see combat. "You're all infantry now," Funk tells them. "Grab your weapons. We're taking that village." He forms a makeshift platoon. 30 men who've spent most of the war behind desks. They march 15 miles through waist-deep snow in a driving blizzard. German artillery explodes around them. Funk leads from the front. They reach Holtzheim. Funk organizes the assault. 30 prisoners captured. Not one American casualty. Another unit captures 50 more Germans on the other side of town. 80 prisoners total. They're corralled in the yard of a farmhouse. Funk looks at his exhausted men. They've been marching and fighting for hours. There's still resistance in other parts of the village. He can only spare 4 men to guard the prisoners. "Keep them here," he tells the guards. "We'll send reinforcements when we can." Funk heads back into the fight. He has no idea what's about to happen behind him. While Funk is clearing the rest of Holtzheim, a German patrol approaches the farmhouse. 10 men, maybe 20, wearing white camouflage capes. In the snow, they look almost identical to American troops. The 4 guards don't realize the danger until it's too late. The Germans overwhelm them, disarm them, force them to their knees. Then they free the prisoners. 80 German soldiers plus the patrol that freed them. 90 men total. They grab weapons from the pile. They organize quickly. The German officer in charge begins giving orders. "Position the machine guns here. Set up the ambush there." That's when Leonard Funk walks around the corner. Funk has come to check on the prisoners. Routine. He rounds the corner of the farmhouse and freezes. His 4 guards are on their knees in the snow. The prisoners are standing everywhere, rifles in their hands, organizing for battle. The German officer spots Funk immediately. The first sergeant's stripes on his sleeve mark him as a leader. The officer strides forward, shoves his MP-40 into Funk's stomach, screams a command in German. "Surrender! Drop your weapon!" Except Funk doesn't speak German. He has no idea what the officer is saying. The officer screams again, louder. His face is red, veins bulging in his neck. Funk looks around. 90 Germans. Half of them armed. His 4 men disarmed and helpless. The mathematics of survival are 0. There is no scenario where Leonard Funk wins this fight. He's outnumbered 90-1. The sensible thing, the rational thing, is to surrender. But Funk remembers Malmédy. 84 Americans murdered in a field. He's already decided he'll never surrender to the Germans. So instead of complying, Leonard Funk does something inexplicable. He starts laughing. Nobody knows exactly why Funk laughed. Maybe it was a ruse, a deliberate tactic to confuse the enemy and buy time. Maybe it was stress. The human brain does strange things when faced with certain death. Maybe it was genuine amusement, the absurdity of the situation. Funk himself later said he tried to stop laughing but couldn't. Whatever the reason, the effect is devastating. The German officer screams louder. Funk laughs harder. He bends over, shoulders shaking. Some of the German soldiers start laughing too. The tension is bizarre. The officer is completely thrown off. This isn't how prisoners behave. They beg, they plead, they comply. They don't stand there laughing while you shove a gun in their stomach. For a few critical seconds, the German officer doesn't know what to do. And Leonard Funk uses those seconds. Still appearing to laugh, Funk slowly reaches up toward his Thompson submachine gun. It's slung over his shoulder, the standard carrying position for paratroopers. The German officer watches. Good. The American is finally surrendering his weapon. Funk's hand closes around the grip of the Thompson. He begins to unsling it. Slowly, carefully. The German relaxes slightly. He's about to have another prisoner. Then Funk moves, in one motion, faster than thought. He swings the Thompson down, brings the muzzle into line, and squeezes the trigger. The M1A1 Thompson fires .45A CP rounds at 600 per minute. At close range, each round hits like a sledgehammer. The first burst catches the German officer in the chest. 30 rounds in less than 3 seconds. The officer is dead before he hits the ground. Funk doesn't stop. Can't stop. The moment he started shooting, he committed to killing everyone or dying himself. There's no middle ground. He pivots, still firing. The Thompson sprays an arc of lead across the German soldiers nearest to him. Men scream, men fall, blood sprays across the snow. The magazine runs dry. 30 rounds gone in seconds. This is the critical moment. A Thompson takes 2 seconds to reload if you're practiced. 2 seconds is forever in a firefight. Funk yanks the empty magazine out, slams a fresh one in, racks the bolt, keeps shooting. The whole sequence takes less than a heartbeat. Muscle memory. At the same time, he's screaming at his men, "Pick up their weapons! Pick up their weapons!" The 4 guards, still on their knees, scramble for the rifles the dead Germans have dropped. Seconds ago, they were prisoners. Now they're fighting for their lives. The Germans are in chaos. Their officer is dead. The American who was laughing is now killing them. Nobody gave orders for this. Nobody knows what to do. Some of them shoot back. Bullets crack past Funk's head. One round kills the soldier standing beside him. Funk keeps firing, moving, killing. His guards have weapons now. They're shooting too. The Germans are caught in a crossfire they never expected. 60 seconds. That's all it takes. 21 German soldiers lie dead in the snow. 24 more are wounded. The rest, more than 40, have thrown down their weapons and raised their hands. The prisoners are prisoners again. Leonard Funk stands in the middle of the carnage, smoke rising from his Thompson, surrounded by bodies. That, he says to his men, was the stupidest thing I've ever seen. The story spreads through the regiment, through the division, through the entire 82nd Airborne. The sergeant who laughed at 90 Germans and killed half of them with a Tommy gun. When the Medal of Honor recommendation reaches Washington, nobody questions it. The official citation reads, "He was ordered to surrender by a German officer who pushed a machine pistol into his stomach. Although overwhelmingly outnumbered and facing almost certain death, First Sergeant Funk, pretending to comply with the order, began slowly to unsling his submachine gun from his shoulder, and then, with lightning motion, brought the muzzle into line and riddled the German officer. He turned upon the other Germans, firing and shouting to the other Americans to seize the enemy's weapons." September 5th, 1945. The White House. President Harry Truman places the Medal of Honor around Leonard Funk's neck. "I would rather have this medal," Truman says, "than be President of the United States." Let's count what Leonard Funk earned during World War II. Medal of Honor for Holtzheim. Distinguished Service Cross for the anti-aircraft guns in Holland. Silver Star for leading 18 men through 40 miles of enemy territory in Normandy. Bronze Star for meritorious service. Purple Heart, 3 of them. He was wounded 3 separate times and kept fighting. Plus the Croix de Guerre from France. The Order of Leopold from Belgium. The Military Order of William from the Netherlands. Leonard Funk is the most decorated paratrooper of World War II. 5'5", 140 pounds, a former store clerk who became a legend. The war ends. Funk goes home. He doesn't write a book, doesn't do the lecture circuit, doesn't turn his Medal of Honor into a speaking career. He gets a job with the Veterans Administration, the VA, helping other veterans navigate the paperwork, processing disability claims, cutting through red tape for men who'd given everything, the same kind of clerk work he did before the war. For 27 years, Leonard Funk sits at a desk and helps veterans. His wife, Gertrude, sticks with him through all of it. They have 2 daughters. They live in McKeesport, Pennsylvania. The Medal of Honor hangs in a case somewhere. He never talks about it. When people ask about Holtzheim, about the laughing, about the 90 Germans, he shrugs it off. Did what I had to do. That's all he ever says. November 20th, 1992. Braddock Hills, Pennsylvania. Leonard Alfred Funk, Jr. dies of cancer. He's 76 years old. They bury him at Arlington National Cemetery. Section 35, grave 2373. At the time of his death, he's the last surviving Medal of Honor recipient from the 82nd Airborne Division in World War II. A fitness center at Fort Liberty is named after him. A highway in Pennsylvania bears his name. But most people have never heard of Leonard Funk. They know Audie Murphy. They know Alvin York. They don't know the short, quiet paratrooper who laughed at 90 Germans and killed 21 of them with a Tommy gun. Here's what the story of Leonard Funk tells us. At Holtzheim, Leonard Funk had every reason to surrender. The math was impossible. 90 against 1. A gun in his stomach. His men already captured. But Funk wasn't thinking about the math. He was thinking about Malmédy, about 84 Americans murdered in a field. So he laughed. Maybe as a tactic, maybe from stress, maybe because the whole thing struck him as absurd. And while the German officer was confused, while everyone was off balance, Leonard Funk made his move. 60 seconds later, he was standing in a field of bodies, alive when he should have been dead. September 5th, 1945. The White House Rose Garden. The most powerful man in the world looked at a 5'5" former store clerk from Pennsylvania and said, "I'd rather be you." Because courage isn't about size or strength or training. Courage is what you do when there's a gun in your stomach and 90 men want you dead. If you believe these stories need to be told, hit that subscribe button. We have more coming about the moments when honor, rage, and justice collided. Thanks for watching.